What's up, guys? We've got a big massive box here and a very lengthy name for this model kit here from Kotobukiya. This is in their Evangelion line. This is the Evangelion production model New-02 Alpha JA-02 body assembly Cannibalized, or the EVA Unit 2 Alpha, I guess would be an easier way to call that. This is a big kit here. As you can see, we've got a ton of stuff in there. I've had a really good, fun experience building Kotobukiya's Evangelion kits before. They are really nicely detailed, very anime accurate too, which is really nice if you guys care about that. So let's go ahead and check out this one here for today's video. Right, and that big box means for some big box art here on the front, and the EVA looking very cool with all that equipment on there. I guess very cool is very subjective. I mean, what do you guys think about the design? I think it's pretty interesting, pretty unique, but I mean, it's very different from, if you've been a long-time EVA fan, this is obviously very different from what we're used to, like from the original series, of course. So I'm wondering if it's a design that you guys are into or like not that much. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Going in here on the side of the box, we basically just got the same information and artwork there. On the bottom of the box is where we can see some photos of the actually built and painted model kit here. So there it is, front and back, with that massive weapon here as well, and then in some action poses over here showing off some different poses that you can do with the articulation built into the kit. The gimmick here and action, this is all in Japanese, all the text we've got on here, but you can see some nice detail images. On the opposite side of the box, the options, so just kind of showing everything that we have included, which is essentially the main large weapon, a couple of smaller weapons, hand option parts, and the equipment that goes around on the back. And then in here we have a look at the sample of the build, completely unpainted, so straight out of the box, that's what it's going to look like. And then we have the list price over here of 12,000 yen, I should say. So gonna be pretty expensive, but as you guys can see here, like I said, big box and a lot of stuff in here. It will be very interesting to see how this compares with the Meng version of this model kit later on, but for now, let's go ahead and check out everything that we've got in here. We'll get to the runners in a moment. I first want to take a look at the instruction manual. We do also have a small sheet of waterside decals included, mostly just some bits in white there, as you can see, so you have those if you want to add them. And then our assembling instructions here, looking very cool, basically made to look like a kind of notebook, which is quite interesting here with the top secret and all the kind of branding on there. The scale for this 1/400 scale there, by the way. On the inside, no photos yet. I think maybe we'll have a little bit towards the back. Yeah, but it's just straight into the parts list, which, like I said, we've got a fair amount of that. And then on into the construction. So all the construction is going to be here just in black and white. No color or anything, and there's quite a lot. This manual is pretty thick here for the construction of that. Once you get towards the back, we have our decal guide. So there's where those decals are going to go. And like I said, it's mostly just white bits. They're going to go around on the body. So here's your guide for that. On the next page is our color guide, main part. So for the main kit, all the colors are laid out with these nice big reference images here, front and back. That's all in Japanese, but pretty easy to translate if you're trying to match the colors precisely. Here is a close-up view, because we do have a lot of very small color apps around on the kit, so just to make sure that you can get everything in exactly the right colors, we've got that all laid out for you. Also, the stop signal plug here, the color guide for that, and the triple barrel Gatling gun, the color guide for that, and the Naginata, the color guide for that. And that's it for the manual. So let's go ahead and check out the runners. A couple of bits here. First off the runner is parts for the head that have some nice yellow and white pre-painting on those red parts, as you can see there. And a couple more here. It looks like white parts with, these are also parts for the head, black, red, yellow, and I guess green there for the eye on those sides there as well. Also very cool. We got our hand parts here, which are molded in a softer plastic, a weapon holding hand there, open expressive hand, another different kind of looking open expressive hand there, a weapon holding hand, and a closed fist. Runner A here is going to be all of our parts in a darker red color there. Runner B, another nice large runner here of some parts in gray. Runner C switching it up to a much smaller runner here, but some more parts in gray. Then runner D for the rest of those gray color parts. We've got two of this D runner here. Runner E in a lighter kind of bluish light gray color here is some more parts. Looks like a lot of that's for the weaponry. And then runner F here in dark green is going to be for some of the equipment parts around on the kit. That same color is going to continue here onto runner G as well. Some very nice detail around on these parts there, as you can see. Also here runner H, which we have two of, for some more of those dark green parts. Runner I, then switching it up to a kind of olive drab sort of color here for some equipment parts. and the same thing here on runner J as well. We've got 2 of those. Runner K is going to be a few parts here in a kind of orangish yellow, including the horn for the head. Runner L here is some parts in black. Runners M and N are a couple of smaller runners here, M being a couple of parts in white, N being a couple of parts here in this kind of light pinkish purple kind of color. Runner O being a few more weapons parts here, looks like mostly in off-white. Runner P being some parts here in a dark gray. Runner Q is a couple more joint parts there in black. And then packaged here a couple of really tiny runners R and S for a couple of little parts there in a kind of lime green and light bluish color there. And that's it. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up. To just take a look at that incredible backpack here for one. I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to be the most impressive about this kit, but overall really cool kit, as you guys will see, just tons of detail. If you've ever built any of the Kotobukiya Evangelion kits, then you have a good idea what to expect with this. There are going to be a few seam lines here and there, of course, that's just kind of going to come with the territory, but what you also get with it is just tons of incredible detail on there. Some really nice color separation with some really teeny tiny parts that we have in there for some nice little bits of color separation, but overall just a ton of detail, and it looks incredible straight out of the box. But obviously if you go ahead and do the extra work of painting the kit up and doing all the detail painting and all that, I mean, it's going to look even that much better. But we do have some pretty cool accessories here as well, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. Now, one thing to note is that, as you guys could just see there, that the kit does stand on its own just fine without the use of any sort of extra base or anything like that, even with this gigantic backpack on there, which I feel is quite noteworthy. It probably helped a lot just due to the fact that it has these quite like big feet down there at the bottom, but it's pretty nice that it can actually stand with this big massive backpack on. That said, you can remove this part of the backpack. Just take that off there like that, and this is our first accessory. Just this option part that plugs onto there in its place, which is just going to close that up like that. If you want to have just the backpack just with only that part and not all this big huge missile pods and these giant thrusters and everything else going on there on the backpack, which is some pretty awesome looking equipment, I will say. But if you didn't want that on there, you can just use that part instead. Now while we're here, let's take a look at a couple other different option parts. For this part right there at the tail end, you can replace that with this part. If you want to plug this onto an action base, you can use that. And then also an option part for this part right there is this one here, which has a hard point for plugging on the stop signal plug here onto there like that for storage when not in use. When in use in the hand, you'll switch out for this one. You can attach the hand on either to the bottom or onto this part right here for one or two-handed grip on that. Very nicely detailed, of course, either version of this, but it is going to be missing some little bits of color here and there. It is mostly white though, so I mean, it's mostly color accurate. But let's go ahead and move on here, talk about some more of our hand options. Now we've got these kind of open resting hands for the left and the right side. Other options for the left side gonna be our holding hand for the stop signal plug there, a closed fist, an open expressive hand like this, and then a weapon holding hand like so. For the left side, no closed fist, but we do have an open expressive hand like so, a hand for holding the stop signal plug, and then a trigger finger hand for holding onto our Gatling gun. The Gatling gun itself is pretty cool, such a awesome and unique looking weapon. I love the design on this one. So you got your main handle right there, and then you can just use another hand as a secondary kind of support hand for this massive triple barrel Gatling gun there. It is very nicely detailed, but again, could use a little bit of detail painting around on that just to help bring out some of those details and just to make it look completely accurate, but otherwise that does look very nice. You've got the main handle, and then a secondary handle is right up inside there, I should mention. And lastly, we do also have the Naginatas. We have two of these. These can attach into each other like that very easily. When not in use, these don't store anywhere around on the kit, so you just have them in hand, or you just have to kind of set them off to the side. That's really it for all of the accessories, but let's just go ahead and take a closer look at the main kit. Now, like I said, we got some really nice part separation. Most of the coloring that you're seeing there on the face is all pre-painted as we saw, but like the little bits of green there towards the back of the face, those are separate parts. The horn, it's obviously a separate part in here as well. You have a couple of points of articulation at the base of the head and then at the base of the neck as well, which is kind of loose. This one, I feel like this one keeps wanting to pop off on me there. Here in the shoulder, it's also really nice color separation, as that red, like that light blue, grayish blue, and black is all separate pieces in there. We have some nice up and down movement here at the shoulder. You can bring that arm up. We can rotate that at the elbow. You can only bend the elbow to about 90 degrees though before that's going to be popping out of the joint. The wrist is able to turn and also bend a little bit forward and back like that. And it's the same thing for the other arm, even though it's like a totally different shape and everything. The articulation is all basically going to be out the same. You have a double joint in the elbow though, giving you a little bit further bend there, which is nice. But again, the wrist is just going to bend and rotate here as well. We have a couple of points of articulation in the midsection, giving us some kind of accordion action between these separate parts. There's like 1, 2, 3 sections basically here that can kind of move forward, back, side to side, and also rotate there in the midsection. These little bits of armor here above the leg are on ball joints, so those will move around out of the way as you need to move the leg around. For moving the leg out to the side, the joint kind of extends out so you can get a really wide range of movement out to the side there, and of course front and back is not going to be any issue here as well. At the knee, you have a nice double joint there with a nice full bend. This kind of bit of knee armor right here is also able to move a little bit, but not really all that much. Same thing with this ankle armor down here that is able to move, but it's not going to do very much. Up underneath the feet, looks pretty nice. The back of the foot is able to rotate left and right, and the same for the front of the foot, and in the front of the foot, the toe will also bend a little bit like that there as well. So overall, some pretty nice articulation with this one, which should make posing really good as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a base, but I would highly recommend maybe checking out a Kotobukiya flying base to use with this, just to be able to utilize more kind of aerial poses, which it is going to look very nice. I've got to say, it's a very cool, very unique design. It's certainly very different from your standard Evangelion kits. If you've built a number of Eva kits and you feel like kind of once you've built a couple, you've kind of built them all, this is one that should definitely give you a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And the weapons as well, it's nice that this has more than just kind of your standard like pellet rifle and knife like we've seen in kind of most of the Bandai real grade kits. I feel like Kotobukiya has been pretty good in their Evangelion kits of giving a lot of the more kind of unique weaponry and stuff in different ones, rather than just recycling the same weapons in kind of every single release. And this one unfortunately doesn't have the like big saw weapons, and those are, I guess, included with the EVA-08 model kit. So if you get that, then you can use those weapons with this. But yeah, they were unfortunately not included. That said, I do feel like you do have a pretty good amount of stuff in the box. You have a lot of parts in the box there just for the very large weapon and the very large backpack, aside from everything that's going on just the kit itself. And I can mention it is going to have a lot of color separation just straight out of the box. It's going to look really, really good. But if you were to go in and just paint in some more of the details, I mean, it is a very detailed kit and a very quite busy design around on all the armor and everything. So if you were to go in and like paint everything in, I think it's going to look pretty incredible. But all that said, I had to say, I'm quite impressed with this one. I think Kotobukiya once again has done a really great job on this kit. It is nice to have it in a little bit larger size as well, if you guys do prefer kind of something more similar in size to like a Bandai Master Grade, I guess, in comparatively to like something from the Gunpla series. I think the size and the scale of Kotobukiya's Evangelion kits is really quite nice as well. It makes them pretty easy to work on. You have a couple of really teeny tiny parts here and there, but for the most part, everything's pretty manageable if you're worried about lots of like really teeny tiny parts of like the real grade kits again, for example. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you have any other further questions about the kit, but as always, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can check it out at USA Gundam Store. The link will be down in the video description below. We've got all sorts of different Evangelion model kits and merch and everything else there, so check that out. If you guys would like to leave a like on the video and make sure that you're subscribed, that would really be appreciated. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Hope you all are having a great day and hope you enjoyed taking a look at this kit. Up next in the near future, we will be also taking a look at the Meng version of this as well, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, guys, hope you all have a great day. Bye bye.